Hey everyone, Bilsu here. I kind of wanted to talk about the water dungeon video on the main channel, as well as some of the struggles I have when making this project, and basically what I wanted to do for the water dungeon that kind of led me to get not burnt out, but a little demotivated, and just kind of what led to me not doing exactly what I wanted to do for that video. So it's probably pretty obvious that the water dungeon video took way too long to come out. Not only did I announce it in like the beginning of summer of last year, but when I started working on it, it was actually around January of this year, and I didn't release it until April. So, and that's not really like me. Normally when I make a video, I kind of like focus on that video and I make it. But some of you might know that I started doing game dev because when it comes to Link Dimension and, you know, just Zelda Pokemon project, it's always been a big inspiration for me to eventually make my own thing. And so I got really into working on my own universe. And a lot of the stuff that I learned made me want to try and apply that to the water dungeon video. So about halfway through working on it, I kind of wanted to do more with the project. And another big reason for me wanting to do more is because, you know, in this day and age with like AI art and everything else, I almost feel like I have to. Like, if I want people to take any of the projects that I do seriously, I kind of have to do as much as I possibly can, in my mind, for people to actually care. A lot of this has to do with just people not being very impressed with things that they once were. When I started the channel, AI art wasn't quite there. It was still in the beginning stages. It wasn't as accessible for people, and doing things like showing off something in a different universe or whatever was a lot more impressive, you know, like 5 years ago. But now being able to just type stuff in and have it pop out these things kind of makes things like my project not as impressive to people as it once was, even though I know there are people that really care. So with that, and along with me feeling like my channel was just kind of declining in views, kind of made it feel like I had to do more, you know, because I really like making YouTube videos, but I just don't like the feeling of people losing the interest, and I only ever feel like I'm trying to up the quality of what I make. So to be trying to put in more effort while also having your like putting in more effort but then not really getting the rewards for that is kind of disappointing. And while I am never going to stop like working on this project till it's finished, it does make it a lot less enjoyable than it was, at least in the beginning when I was doing YouTube, when it seemed like people were more excited about things and more there for it. And a lot of that has to do with like me, you know, I haven't been super consistent. A lot of that has to do with I can't dedicate all my time to the channel as I would like because, you know, I have a full-time job, and, you know, I probably will never be able to do YouTube like full time because there's just not really like that much money in it. But yeah, I kind of felt like, I guess my back was against the wall, where it's like, okay, I have to do things that no one else is doing with this project, or no one's going to care anymore. Like, it's just going to slowly like die off, and I'm only going to get less and less people interested. Even though like I gain subs, the views, it's like people will sub and then they kind of just stopped caring. And I really hate that because, like I said, I feel like I try to put more and more effort into the stuff that I make, and I try to do more and I just get less. And for example, my most popular video on my channel is the types video. That video only has 2 Pokemon in it, and it's Hoot Hoot. To me, that's just ridiculous. Like, Hoot Hoot is not really an exciting Pokemon. And so to have that be my most viewed video while also not really even being anywhere near the quality of what I do now, and I just can never ever make a video, it seems like, that will do better than that no matter what I do, is just so annoying, because it's not even that many views, but it just seems like people are not nearly as interested as they once were. Or maybe I'm just not doing good enough video ideas. But I guess that also kind of leads into kind of like the overall perspective I should have on the project, which is just doing it for the people that do care, which there are a lot of you, and a lot more than I thought I would ever have. You know, there's people that are there every video, they comment every video, and I can't tell you how much that means to me. I think what happened was my video before the Water Dungeon video, I remade Orden Village and tried to have like Pokemon in it. And I wanted to, like I said, do something big. I want to create like an actual world that feels more realized for this project. And I was really excited for that video. And when I released it, you know, YouTube told me that people that regularly watch my videos were basically not watching it. And that really hurt because I think that's the first time that I've ever posted a Link Dimension video where I got that kind of message. I mean, I expect to get that message whenever I post things that are not normal. Like when I do my Elden Ring videos, I'm okay with them not getting as many views because I kind of expect it. But for this, I thought, you know, the people that watch my channel would really, really like this. And it turns out they just weren't that interested, which really bummed me out because, you know, my whole channel is built on this project. So if I post a video about the project and people aren't interested based on what YouTube is saying, it kind of makes me feel like I don't have like a purpose with the channel. And it kind of put me into panic mode. And so what essentially happened was I was like, okay, I guess I need to like just start putting in this project into overdrive and just finishing it, because I don't want it to be where it's like I'm just slowly declining and I'm trying to do more and more and just still slowly declining. And no matter what, even if I'm proud of it, that still feels bad. That's kind of like the reality of it, is that even if I'm proud of something, it is still not fun to put a lot of work into something and to just not get the results from it. So the Water Dungeon video at this point was just something that I was like, okay, I just want to get this out there. I don't, even though I had been working on it and I had designs I had been sitting on for a while, I had a lot of plans. I even had the script written down. I was like, I just want to change the format of this video and just get it out, because what I wanted to do originally, which is what I'll talk about, is I wanted to create my own version of Lake Hylia in 3D. I wanted to truly build out the dungeon, like try to map out its layout, you know, not have mechanics, but like literally build the dungeon. This would also be really good practice for game dev and things like that, and model some Pokemon that would roam the dungeon in 3D, and then also have fully voice acted segments of the characters interacting and things like that. Like I wanted to try and push the video to be a lot bigger, but with how I felt after that previous video, I lost all that motivation for it. I was no longer interested in putting in that effort, despite that being the plan. And I really hate that. And, you know, I kind of let everyone know, like, hey, I'm just going to try and I'm just trying to get this video done. I'm going to do a smaller version of it. You know, still have all the main artwork for everything, but just push it out to people and move on, because I was just ready to move on. I kind of felt like I needed to just make simpler videos and stop being so ambitious, because it was just making it not enjoyable, I guess. And like I said, I'm all for putting in more effort. Like I always try to do more and more, because that's the only way that you're gonna get people to care. I always say that no one will care about the projects you work on more than you. So if I don't care, I can't expect anyone else to care. So I always have to care the absolute most, and I still think I do. You know, this project has been like my entire art journey, so it's very important to me. But I do want to talk about some of the things that I was going to add to the video besides that. So I'll talk about a little bit about some of the interactions. So originally the video was going to start with Link and Kuryoki kind of talking about, and I'm going to post at least the rough outline of this dialogue in the description. But, you know, Link and Kuryoki would be journeying to Lanayru, and they would be talking about things that I kind of wanted to delve on, because, you know, Link is a character that never really has a personality in the games. And that's kind of like my biggest problem with like Tears of the Kingdom and Breath of the Wild Link, is that he feels like he's not really like even a character, despite there being a lot around him. He just doesn't really seem like he has any emotion, and it kind of bothers me. And even though people won't necessarily agree, that was always something I was very like for, is trying to give him a voice. So him and Kuryoki would be talking about how, you know, Link's becoming kind of homesick, and he's used to being around people that he cares about, and you know, he doesn't want them to feel like he's abandoned them and things like that. And Kuryoki also is a similar character to him, except a little bit differently, where Kuryoki doesn't even know anything. You know, Kuryoki's lost in this world, doesn't know who she is, doesn't know where she's from, but at the end of the day, they at least have each other. And that's something that I really wanted to explore in this video. Basically them having more interactions about talking about like family and like abandonment and just trusting in each other while they go on their journey. There was also a moment where they get interrupted by a Smollusk, which is a Pokemon that I revealed in the video, just as a way to kind of introduce a new Pokemon. They then go to Kakariko Village, and Impa, they finally meet up with Impa after, you know, going through these 2 dungeons together. And Impa is introduced to Kuryoki, and they kind of have some, you know, silly dialogue, trying to show more of Kuryoki's like silly, playful, childlike aspects, and also kind of get Impa's more stern and serious personality in there as well. But then also in this scene was going to be Koga interrupting them, so he kind of like ambushes, kind of like attacks Kakariko Village. And you know, Master Koga is a really funny character. I think he adds a lot to... He's one of my favorite parts about Breath of the Wild. And I absolutely loved his scenes in Hyrule Warriors. So I really wanted to have that personality in this thing. And I also wanted to kind of allude to his and Impa's past, because they have a connection in the past. So I wanted to have some dialogue between them. But the reason, and this was also going to be when I introduced Benino's evolution, which was Hyrulean Tropius, which didn't make it into the video, despite me even making it and everything. And basically they have a fight. Koga does this thing where he just, you know, leaves. He does that stereotypical like bad guy, like, oh, I'm losing, I'm getting out of here kind of thing. But the reason why I kind of cut him out is going to be kind of because I didn't want to have just random moments with him. I wanted to make sure when I showed him, it was in a bigger moment. And the next dungeon video, which is the desert dungeon, is actually going to be Yiga themed. What I have planned so far, I think will be really awesome, and I'm kind of excited to show it. But he will be one of the main highlights of that dungeon. So I kind of wanted to just save him for that. After all that, they kind of talk about Zelda, how she's kind of off doing her own thing. That's kind of like the angle I wanted to go with Zelda in this video, where, you know, she was born to be a princess, but she never grew up as a princess. And she loves Pokemon, and she tries to understand them, and she loves exploring and stuff like that. And she's a very like free spirit and absolutely not acting like a princess. And to just have Impa talk more about that. And then also have Kuryoki ask and stuff about Zelda and who she is. And then they kind of stay in Kakariko Village, and then the next day they journey towards Lanayru. At this point, they kind of see like the city on the horizon, and they stop at a spring, and they notice that they stay at a spring. They notice a lot of the beautiful Pokemon that are at this fairy spring, and then they witness a Farinade interacting with a Triforce dust that was in the spring water, and it basically introduces you to Trinity Farinade. It was a nice way for me to try to like work Trinity Farinade into the story, and they talk about how beautiful it is, and because that's a big theme with this dungeon is beauty and lust, so I wanted to kind of explore that. And then they also talk about how, you know, Kuryoki, they talk about how beautiful things are, and Kuryoki kind of reflects on how chaotic she looks, and Link basically talks about how he respects her for kind of defying everything. Then they talk about being in the city of Lanayru, which is like a big city that I wanted to kind of get a better idea of how it looked. Big white city, very clean, very beautiful place. And there being a lot of moon iconography in this region because with Hyrulean Cresselia, it's like the mother of all the Zora Pokemon, and she basically controls the moon, which also controls the tides and the water. And so there's a lot of moon iconography in the architecture and stuff like that. And Link kind of talks to Kuryoki about the moon, and Kuryoki doesn't know what a moon is. They also talk about how everyone's giving them weird looks. So everyone from the city kind of looks at them with disgust. And Lunaria was originally written to be a little bit different, but I kind of wanted to go with a more timid version of her. And I didn't quite finish all of the dialogue. I actually think I'm missing some of it. But yeah, I just wanted to talk about some of the interactions that they would have. And then at the end of the dungeon, Link would actually meet up unexpectedly with Zelda, and she tosses him his new tunic, which is going to be basically like his regular green tunic that he has. So there'll be a new Link design for the next dungeon video, kind of setting up like the next arc. And then he's actually going to be journeying with Zelda to the desert dungeon. Because I think having Link with Zelda on the adventure is something that we don't ever see. Zelda's kind of always in the background, but with the world and how I set her up, I made it possible to where she could actually be with Link on this journey. And so that's something that I want to explore for the next dungeon video. So like I said, there's a lot that I wanted to add to this video that just, like I said, I lost all my motivation trying to work on it. And I just wanted it done, but I wanted to make this video to kind of talk about what I wanted to add to it, and basically just apologize for not adding all of this to the video. It's a very hard thing on YouTube to, you want to share your artwork and you want to share all this stuff with everyone, but you have to do it the right way, or YouTube's just not going to promote it and people won't see it. And as much as I know people will say that they really like the dungeon videos, chances are they're not the videos that people saw to even see the channel. And I'm not trying to make the dungeon videos for everyone, but what I am trying to do is make it for the majority of my subscribers, because I don't want to alienate people that want to follow the channel. I want to try and make the videos as good as they can be for everyone. And one of the big problems with my favorite dungeon video, which was the Forest Dungeon, was that I made all of these dialogue scenes, and I used like text boxes, and I tried to make it very video gamey, and I was very proud of how I put everything together, and I thought it was really neat. And I took a lot of inspiration from Major Link's A Hero's Purpose videos, where he has all these animated videos, and there's no dialogue, there's no voices, there's just text. And I was like, well, he did it, so like I should be able to do it. And maybe it's because I didn't have subtitles, like as far as like YouTube, so people that aren't native to English speaking could actually follow along. But people seem to not really like that. Like a big criticism of that video was that people claimed that they didn't watch my videos to read, which I definitely understand that. But like I said, Major Link is someone that has a series where it's a very big YouTube series that's also fan made, that has no dialogue or no voices. And like I said, I was just trying to follow what I saw success in, and I tried to make it as interactable and as not boring as I could, but it seemed to not really be enough. So then in the Fire Dungeon video, I tried to just narrate the dialogue, and I honestly didn't really like doing that. Some people said it was okay, some people said it was redundant, and then in this video I just decided to cut out the dialogue, and it turns out a lot of people missed that part of the videos. So it's very hard for me to figure out the best way to do these videos because one, I lack a lot of skills in what I want to do. There's certain things I feel like there's certain things I feel like I am able to do. And then there's things that I think I can kind of do, but I'm not that good at it. And there's things that people would like for me to do. And so it also just seems like people want different things. Like some people really liked the Forest Dungeon video. Some people didn't really like it as far as like the dialogue part. Some people like the text boxes. Some people like it when I talk. I'm sure some people would like it if it was voice acted. So it's really hard for me to figure out what the right approach is with all this. And these videos have been basically really experimental for me. And so I'm basically just asking, like, if you're watching this video, to just leave some feedback and let me know like what you really would want to see. I do want to focus on the people that are actually engaging with these types of videos, and I will try to do my best going forward to make them more interactable. I want to do voice acted stuff, more of it for the next video, have more moments for the next dungeon video. And there's definitely some improvements that I will be making, but I'm trying not to get overly ambitious so that way I don't burn myself out on this next one. I have a lot of cool ideas and I want to make sure that it turns out well. So that's about all I have to say. If you have any questions or anything like that, let me know. I don't know how many people will actually watch this video, but I appreciate it if you do. And like I said, I really just want this project to be the best that it can be for as many people as it can be. Because no matter what, I'll be happy working on it. But I want, a lot of people to enjoy it. And so it's also one of those things that, like I said, I plan to make like a big movie-like video when all of this is said and done. But I'm trying to use these videos to kind of see what the right approach is before I get to that point. So these dungeon videos to me are experimental and kind of trial and error. So don't take them as, oh, he's no longer doing this anymore. I can easily do whatever again. And like I said, when I do a final video and put everything together, I'll hopefully by that point know the right approach. So let me know. And thank you for watching if you did. This video is not really edited that well, but I just wanted to talk. And that's kind of what this channel is for, is just to allow me to talk without having to worry about, YouTube algorithm stuff. So I appreciate you all, and I hope to see you on the next video, which should be out pretty soon.